no end to this nightmare.
The screams, they pierce my mind. I can't stand it. What a horrible place.
Only those who have suffered long can find the light within the shadows.
This is no place for you.
I yearn to see the great dunes of Hammerfell once again. There's no escape. How could they trick me like this? I was one of Rieman's court wizards. Get out while you can. Just step into the painting, he said. Yeah, sure. Like it's that simple.
Get out while you can.
I miss the warm sunshine, green grass, blue skies. I miss being alive. What a horrible place. Please, end this misery.
Hey there guys, and welcome back to Ricard's journey through Skyrim, where you find us in less than hospitable area. Where we left off, we entered the Soul Cairn with Serana in search of her mother. Approaching the portal to bring us to the Soul Cairn drained us of our life essence. It weakened us greatly. Serana opted us with a choice. To half soul trap us in order to give the ideal masters part of a deal of a soul to enter the Soul Cairn. However, doing this would drain me of my strength and my power greatly. It would pretty much half everything that I have. That was not an option. Not for the threats that I face on this journey, let alone just this area alone. I was not willing to part with strength. What I did part with was pride, because I became what I set out to destroy in joining the Dawn Guard. I chose to become a vampire. Not something I did lightly, but we didn't have much choice, and if anyone was going to turn us into a vampire, I'm glad it was Serana, because it was done with a bit of decency. That's more than you'll get from any other creature of the night. So we're on the lookout for her mother, Valerica. We've been down here for some time. It's not the most colourful of lands, and the denizens here less than happy.
Stay away from the crystals, or you may find yourself becoming one of us.
I'm kind of keen to show off the tonal locks in this area. I wouldn't call them tonal locks. You shoot them like you would a lot of Dwemer ruins, but they're not so. They're more like spectres. Each one, if you activate them, does hold inside itself an artifact of some kind. Take hold of that black soul gem. I'm carrying too much, of course I am. Gibbs notes, page 8. Remember in the end, 76 cliff racers were slaughtered. I was knee-deep in their corpses and my body on the verge of collapse. But I had survived. I smiled to the heavens and all went black. When I awoke, all I felt was my back on a cold stone floor. Every muscle in my body was on fire and my visions were blurred. Slowly, I tried to climb to my feet. It took several agonizing something. Chest of some kind, where we have another black soul gem. I'm going to take the common. However, I am carrying too much and I need to figure why that is. And as if you didn't know, There's Bethesda's hint. She has a weapon drawn because we do. Okay, Serana. How are we doing?
Let's keep moving. I feel like we're being watched.
Yeah, I kind of get that too. That kind of feels like a big, massive eye. I've seen one just like it in Sovngarde. Long story, but are you sure Valerica has the Elder Scroll?
No, but there's no way she would have left it in Tamriel. She wanted to get it as far away from my father as possible. I can't imagine a better place.
And if she doesn't?
Then we find out where she hid it. If she's still alive. Well, as alive as she was before. Or is now. Or... you know what I mean.
Why not hide it in the soul cairn and then return?
Probably to avoid whatever my father would do to her if he could get his hands on her. Or maybe her plan was to come back, but she was stuck here. We won't know until we find her.
That is definitely true.
If you think it'll help.
It definitely will. Let's give her the woodcutter's axe, because we're not going to need this here. Let's give her these rings. She might be able to do something with them. Am I carrying anything heavy? Probably are. I always am. Emerald Dragon Claw. I mean, that only weighs half. Gold ingots. Oh yes, of course. We found these. Oh dear. We found these inside the like the under passageways of Castle Volkihar. Okay, and without further ado. Now the good thing is that being here and being a vampire, we do not need to sleep, rest, or eat, so we can be on the move all the time, which is a godsend. Here's something whispering. Some kind of a spare. Hello. Even dragons came this far. This place is as barren as it gets. I mean, Bethesda, known for making many Fallout games, both good and bad. There's no reason why they can create even a great wasteland in Skyrim.
Please, end this misery.
I don't have that power. Although it would have been interesting if you was to able, because like this bow has a soul absorb, soul trap.
You must help me find my Arvak. He doesn't deserve to be in a place like this.
What's an Arvak? Or who?
Arvak, my horse. We came to this horrible place together. We were attacked by monsters, so I told him to run. Please, he's such a loyal creature, and he's been running for so long. You have to save him. A place like this will change you.
This is why I do not wish to linger. How can I help him?
Arvak? Arvak! Where are you? Arvak, please come back! Come back! Farewell.
Find Arvak's skull in the soul cairn. Oh, it seems like this place will challenge even those who are mentally sound. God knows what it's doing to a horse. Let's just take some of these. It's interesting that you see both souls in a spectral form and coming from this fissure, this crack in the ground. So you'll notice that if you activate them, it fills soul gems. So it makes you think what the ideal masters do with souls, and is what comes up from this fissure a byproduct of that? One shudders at the thought. One would think to follow the path. There is a rather daunting structure in the background. What is that? That looks like a horse. So that must be Arvak. But we're not going to be able to catch him just by chasing him around. There's another area with tonal locks over here. Who are you, fine sir? Morven Stroud.
What do you want now?
What's the matter with you?
Let's just say I sold something to a guy who turned out to work for a whole coven of necromancers. How in the name of Zenithar was I to know the ingredients were phony? Do I look like someone that would double-cross a necromancer?
It's not so much of looking. This is how you got here?
You got it. Horse, wagon, and all. Plopped here without so much as a word. I used to be one of the best traders in High Rock, you know. How people would track me down just to see what I had for sale.
That must have been some time ago. You got anything left?
Very funny. And what exactly are you going to pay me with? Take a look around. Gold doesn't exactly win you any friends around here.
There must be something you want.
I'll tell you what. I appreciate what you're trying to do, so I'll play along. The only thing I see around here in abundance are soul husks. You know, those ugly fungus-looking things growing out of the ground.
I noticed a few.
Say 25 of them, and you can rummage through what was left on my cart.
Fair enough.
Odds and ends I've gathered over the years. Well, used to gather, before all of this nonsense happened to me. Tell me what you're looking for, and maybe we can make a deal. If you have the husks.
Okay, I don't have 25 just yet, so we'll come back.
You've still got it, Morven. A salesman even beyond the end.
Gibbs Opus, page 10. About to strike me down in anger for my somewhat sordid past. Suddenly I understood everything. Suddenly I realized that I was brought here for a reason. I should have died in those ash waters, but Lord Vivek must have seen something inside me that he hadn't seen in millennia, and decided to spare me from my fate. Thus began my ascent to sainthood. Thus began the rise of Jib. I'm actually going to take that. I've been playing a lot of, well, other games, obviously, so less than familiar. Why am I using these? These are like the only arrows I have left. Fires it anyway. As long as I can pick it up, it's fine. I mean, if you remember, we went into Castle Volcar with less than plentiful amount of arrows. That one didn't come back. Let's get in there. There's another chest in here. Let's not pick up anything too big, but big enough to make some money off later. A human heart. Oh, still plate armor of conjuring. Take the common soul gem and the petty. Oh, I'm leaving the heart. I'm sorry, but no. Something tells me this is not exactly going to be the bow and arrow place. This is a place where necromancers send souls and summon creatures from. So when I get the feeling, I should prep myself thusly. I can't remember. Let's see. Corona, sure. Yeah. Heliomancer's Ballista. We had a lot of fun with this one. And let's prep ourselves to fight the undead. I do have Dawnbreaker, but remember, it will harm Serana, and now it will harm me, so its use is definitely out of the question. I'm going to continue on to the structure in the beyond. More than cautious. This place is really, really open and just begs the question all around. It's too quiet. That's definitely a horse.
Where'd you come from?
Uh-oh. Seymour, I think, by attacking Serana. There's one hanging off in the distance. I actually clip him just a little bit. Hopefully, oh wow. Ectoplasm. Okay, so these are not ectoplasm. These are more ghosts. I don't think those things are creatures that are summoned drop ectoplasm. Hopefully the use of Heliomancer's Ballista is a very powerful spell, but it drains my magicka quite quickly. So I'm hoping its use can aid my magicka resources greatly by allowing me to level up. I think we're close. I can't quite remember. You can see something going on in the distance down there. There's a purple glow directly ahead. This place is huge. Let's get rid of the arrows. Seeing as how we won't be using any, because we only have 26 in total and the rest are cork bulb. Less than useless here. Let's get that right. This is the only building in the area. It's the only one standing that still has a viable door. Come on, Serana, you going to make your way up?
The air, the ground, this is all wrong.
Do you know anything about this place?
Just what my mother told me. I've also studied a little bit on my own, but there's not much. When something is trapped in a soul gem, and then the energy is used for powering an enchantment, the remnants are sent here.
Any soul gem?
Well, I think it's specifically the black ones. I don't know if the soul cairn takes just any leftovers.
Does anything live here?
Look at this place. Do you think anything would want to live here? The only things that can survive here are the ideal masters, the undead, and the souls themselves. Well, if you want to call that living.
Although we hope we don't, but do you think we'll meet the ideal masters?
I don't think anyone's ever met the ideal masters. I'm not even sure anyone knows what they look like. They could be underground, flying above us. They might be the ground, I have no idea.
And why do they collect souls?
Lots of theories. Some say they feed on them like I feed on blood. Others think they use them as payment to an even higher power, almost like a currency. A very strange currency. Whatever they're doing with them, they've been harvesting for millennia. No telling how many souls are trapped here.
And why would a necromancer want to deal with them?
Look around you. There are some extremely powerful undead here. Even a necromancer as seasoned as my mother would be willing to spend years trying to gain access to them.
Summon them?
Exactly. It's a lost art. Most necromancers just raise up whatever bodies are nearby. A simple trick, really. Child's play. But
That you do often. Just pointing that out.
More powerful.
And how do the necromancers communicate with them?
Well, that's usually the trick. It's possible to do it through a simple portal. But to finalize the deal, you have to travel here yourself. And most of them never come back. Mother? Mother!
Maker. It can't be. Serana?
I think we found the mother.
Is it really you? I can't believe it. How do we get inside? We have to talk.
Serana, what are you doing here? Where's your father?
He doesn't know we're here. I don't have time to explain.
I must have failed. Harkon's found a way to decipher the prophecy, hasn't he?
No, you've got it all wrong. We're here to stop him. To make everything right.
Wait a moment. You've brought a stranger here? Have you lost your mind?
No, you don't...
You, come forward. I would speak with you.
So how has it come to pass that a vampire hunter is in the company of my daughter? It pains me to think you'd travel with Serana under the guise of her protector in an effort to hunt me down.
You must know the symbols. This is no ruse. I want to keep her safe. I might be a vampire hunter. I'm not without moral or mind.
Coming from one who murders vampires as a trade, I find it hard to believe your intentions are noble. Serana has sacrificed everything to prevent Harkon from completing the prophecy. I would have expected her to explain that to you.
Hey, if I killed vampires for a trade, I kill the ones that kill the living. There's a status quo. If I kill all the vampires, I'm out of a job. I'm here for the Elder Scroll.
You think I'd have the audacity to place my own daughter in that tomb for the protection of her Elder Scroll alone? Scrolls are merely a means to an end. The key to the tyranny of the sun is Serana herself.
What do you mean?
When I fled Castle Volkihar, I fled with 2 Elder Scrolls. The scroll I presume you found with Serana speaks of Ariel and his arcane weapon, Ariel's bow. The second scroll declares that the blood of Cold Harbor's daughter will blind the eye of the dragon.
The Eye of the Dragon. The sun is meant to be Aetherius, no? Blind the Eye of the Dragon. How does Serana fit in?
Like myself, Serana was a human once. We were devout followers of Lord Molig Bal. Tradition dictates the females be offered to Molig Bal on his summoning day. You survive the ordeal. Those that do emerge as a pure-blooded vampire. We call such confluences the Daughters of Cold Harbor.
Cold Harbor is where Molig Bal remains. The name fits. The tyranny of the sun requires Serana's blood?
Now you're beginning to see why I wanted to protect Serana, and why I've kept the other Elder Scroll as far from her as possible.
Harkon means to kill her?
If Harkon obtained Ariel's bow, and Serana's blood was used to taint the weapon, the tyranny of the sun would be complete. In his eyes, she'd be dying for the good of all vampires.
And we can't let that happen.
And how exactly do you plan on stopping him?
It's simple. I kill a vampire. It's not the first one I would have killed.
If you believe that, then you're a bigger fool than I originally suspected.
Got it in one.
You think I weighed that option before I enacted my plans?
And Serana's opinion is?
You care nothing for Serana, or our plight. Whether or not you've become one of us in order to survive the Soul Cairn, you're still a vampire hunter at heart. You're here because we're abominations in your mind. Evil creatures that need to be destroyed.
Serana believes in me. She guided me through Volkihar. Why won't you?
Serana, this stranger aligns himself with those that would hunt you down and slay you like an animal. Yet I should entrust you to him.
This stranger has done more for me in the brief time I've known him than you've done in centuries.
How dare you? I gave up everything I cared about to protect you from that fanatic you call a father.
Yes, he's a fanatic. He's changed. But he's still my father. Why can't you understand how that makes me feel?
Serana, if you'd only open your eyes. The moment your father discovers your role in the prophecy, that he needs your blood, you'll be in terrible danger.
So to protect me, you decided to shut me away from everything I cared about. You never asked me if hiding me in that tomb was the best course of action. You just expected me to follow you blindly. Both of you were obsessed with your own paths. Your motivations might have been different, but in the end, I'm still just a pawn to you two. I want us to be a family again. But I don't know if we can ever have that. Maybe we don't deserve that kind of happiness. Maybe it isn't for us. But we have to stop him before he goes too far. And to do that, we need the Elder Scroll.
I'm sorry, Serana. I didn't know. I didn't see. I've allowed my hatred of your father to estrange us for too long. Forgive me. If you want the Elder Scroll, it's yours. Your intentions are still somewhat unclear to me. But for Serana's sake, I'll assist you in any way that I can.
Wonderful. Do you have the Elder Scroll?
Yes. I've kept it safely secured here ever since I was imprisoned. Fortunately, you're in a position to breach the barrier that surrounds these ruins.
So that's what that is. What do we need to do?
You need to locate the tallest of the rocky spires that surround these ruins. At their bases, the barrier's energy is being drawn from unfortunate souls that have been exiled here. Destroy the keepers that are tending them, and it should bring the barrier down.
We'll return soon.
One more word of warning. There's a dragon that calls itself Durnevere roaming the cairn. Be wary of him. The Ideal Masters have charged him with overseeing the Keepers, and will undoubtedly intervene if you're perceived as a threat.
Don't worry. How did you become imprisoned here?
When I entered the Soul Cairn, I had intended to strike a bargain with the Ideal Masters, the custodians of this place.
What was the bargain?
I requested refuge in the Soul Cairn, and in exchange, I would provide the Ideal Masters the souls that they craved. If I had foreseen the value they placed on my own soul, I would never have come here.
But surely to be undead, you don't have a soul. They tricked you.
The Ideal Masters unleashed their keepers and sent them to destroy me. Fortunately, I was able to hold them at bay and retreat into these ruins.
And you became trapped.
Unfortunately, yes. Since the keepers weren't able to claim my soul, they had their minions construct a barrier that I'd never be able to breach.
You've been imprisoned here all this time?
Time has very little meaning to me. Consequently, it has little meaning to the Ideal Masters as well. I suppose you could call this the ultimate waiting game, each watching the other to see which will give in.
And who or what are these Ideal Masters?
I know very little about them. They're mystic entities that lord over the Soul Cairn, controlling every aspect from its fabric to its appearance.
They want it to look like this? What do they resemble?
Well, some necromancers believe they are the crystalline structures dotting the Soul Cairn. I believe there's more to it than that.
It does sound a bit simple.
I think they transcend what we perceive as a physical form. Perhaps they were once corporeal beings, but they've obviously reached a point where they no longer require a tangible presence.
And the crystals?
Conduits, through which the Ideal Masters speak to their underlings and feed on their victims.
Why would they require sustenance?
The Ideal Masters' weakness is their insatiable hunger for pure souls. It's the reason for the Soul Cairn's existence, and the only leverage a necromancer has when bargaining with them.
And what do these masters provide in return? What are their rewards?
The ability to summon powerful undead guardians, as one would conjure an Atronak or Daedra. However, the majority of necromancers that are foolish enough to enter into a bargain with the Ideal Masters wind up here as harvested souls.
And why haven't you pursued this prophecy? Maybe you could have guided Harkon down a safer path. Or was he that bad of a fanatic?
Harkon's vision is a world plunged in eternal darkness, where the vampire can flourish, and never again fear the tyranny of the sun. What he fails to realize is how much attention would be called to our kind if the prophecy came to fruition.
Especially when just 1 or 2 attacks on vigilance and you've got people springing up the Dawn Guard again. What sort of attention?
If eternal night fell, there are many who wouldn't stand for it. They would raise armies in attempts to return things to normal. The order of the day would be our destruction, until every last vampire was hunted down and eliminated.
Was it me, or did anyone else get Kate Blanchett in your head saying, "A last alliance of men and elves marched on the armies of Mount Doom"? So you prefer living in the shadows?
I do. It's how the vampire has survived for millennia, and the only way we can continue to survive in the future.
Using subterfuge. I mean, you just have to look at Sibyl Centaur for that. In the cold light of day.
Be careful, and keep my daughters safe.
I always will. In the cold light of day, and Sibyl Centaur is able to live... I don't want to say this woman lives a normal life. It's clearly not. But it's a life. Relatively undisturbed, but not unnoticed. Okay, you're shitting me. There's no word wall here. Yeah, this is a reconstruction. The Ideal Masters might be tricking with my mind. This cannot possibly exist here. Money, I'll take that. Welkin Stone is always welcome. Welkin Stones can restore Magicka. Just making sure. There it is. Gibbs Opus, page 2. A menace with an insatiable hunger that plagued innocent travellers simply by trying to get them home. It was my self-sworn task to hunt them down, one by one, and drive them from the skies. Their fury knew no bounds, their war cry resonated across the land. They were notorious cliff racers, and they had to be destroyed. On a particularly hot day during sun's height, I was. We have a ruby, I'll take that. I cannot say I know where all of Gibbs' pages are, but I will do my best. Have I ever collected all of them before? No, I have not. Do I intend to now? I'm certainly going to give it a good college try. But no guarantees. That's a little teleportation device, if I'm not mistaken. I'm only going to try and use teleporting when it's required, because it can get a bit messy around here. Okay. What we'll do is that we'll head to the west first. Just because I think... I don't know. I think I've always gone west first. Maybe not all the time, but most of the time I've always gone west. Knock out the one and then come back around. However, not one to stick out in the open ground. Is that the Arvac again? Yes, it was. I think I can see a Spectre. And there's one of those floating crystals. Oh, there's another one. It's not possible to jump that. A way in underneath? I saw some stairwell inside. There must be a way in. I don't really like the look of that. That's too many bones. These lightning storms are a bit voracious. Okay, so Serrano's putting away our weapons. That's always a good sign. Friend of yours?
1,000 steps and 1,000 more. Please, end this misery.
I only wish I could. I think the thing is if I go for this one, they're going to start sucking my soul. The curious thing is that when they try to suck my soul, I'm able to heal myself. And a part of me thinks, if I'm able to do this, then there are elements of Aetherius that, you know, can dispel what they do. If that makes sense. Basically, their powers are not a writ, they're not, you know, it can be countered, their damage can be halted and you can heal yourself. You know, it's not what they do is, you know, written in stone. It can be stopped. I'm not making any sense.
I must return to the frontline Alessian headquarters at once. Lives are hanging in the balance.
Basically, if they're as ideal master as they say, then I kind of feel like the damage that I can heal kind of really shouldn't be able to be healed. But it can, and I think I've spotted one of the spires that I'm going after. There's a structure in front of me that's less than welcoming. What is that? What good would a shrine do here? Incredibly cautious now.
Where'd you come from?
Oh boy. Take out the bowman first. There's a lot. He's firing fire arrows. You know how dangerous those are? I do. Ow. Is she? She's seriously attacking me. Okay, so I'm not terribly too sure why Serana took hostility towards me as she did. So I'm just going to be extra careful. I think that's some kind of a boundary. If there's a force field that's keeping Valerica inside a building, then you'd have to kind of believe there's a force field that can keep all the souls inside as well. So we approached that shrine. Maybe I accidentally hit her, I'm not too sure. I think that's a sign of things to come.
Where'd you come from?
I really want to know who that shrine is to. We got one more over here, I can see him. I feel faster as a vampire.
Done and done.
Okay, there we go. Managed to do that. Spell Tome Conjure Bone Man. But who is this shrine to? Or did someone construct this for the Ideal Masters? That is my theory. Okay, so we need to head towards this spire. It's not too dissimilar from the spires surrounding the structure where Valerica is. Something tells me that is what's key to the shield that's keeping her inside. Now, because of I'm not entirely sure of the nature of why Serana went hostile, so I'm going to keep quick saving. I'm sorry, I'm going to try and edit out as much as I can so you don't get just blighted with quick saves. But it's to err on the side of caution and progression. Well, hello, sir. Big bone man, sir.
Where'd you come from?
I don't think that's a keeper. And ow, how much that hurt. Do you mind not? Okay, gonna need to figure out something else. Okay, so just backing up and healing ain't gonna cut it. The thing is how do you fight that? It could take me out in 2 hits. I'm not exactly blessed with much in the way of healing. I have only what I brought with me, which was not a lot. Elemental Fury, maybe not. Fire Breath, nope. Let's see if the powers of the undead are strong, more stronger than my power of the Thum. No, you are not. And I think we're going to need something like this. Shield up. Oh boy. So that happened. He's coming in again. Ow. Oh boy. He's fast. He's very, very fast. I don't think I have really much in the way of potions. Huh, I have that. Let's run away. I'm running the wrong way. If he's still chasing me, I'm gonna try and heal. Let's get the shield back and actually hold it this time. Does occur to me. Fine. He's gonna hit me again. Oh. I always forget that I can just dodge. Okay. So. Unrelenting Force. Stendar's Aura? Or what was stronger? Was it Stendar's Aura or Corona? For 60 seconds, opponents take 10 points of sun damage per second. Stendar's Aura. For 60 seconds, undead in melee range take 15 points sun damage per second. Going the wrong way. This is basically how I used to tackle Draugr Deathlords. Knock them down. Oh, well, I can do this first. Well, Just back away from that one. Can make him stagger, which is a good thing. Oh my god. Right, 4th time's the charm. Doubling up on Stendar's Aura this time. And I would do that, wouldn't I? It would help if you know, focused on not me. I think I'm going to have to go for more shield bashes. I managed to back away from that one. It's not an exact science, healing. Ow! Mother... Yep, had to do it on that one. He's a mean one. Serrano's actually doing a better job than me. Okay, got a bit of damage in there. Just shield bash him every time he goes for heavy. And block him every time he goes for light. There we go, that wasn't so hard. Why do I make things look harder than they really are? Go through the remains of soul gem that's filled. Okay, so we got one, right? That's the first one. There's still 2 more. Okay. That's candlelight. See how one muddles the mind when he's nearly dying. There's something out there I'm not too fond of. So I have to go to the top. I don't think I do. No, I surely don't. This was just an option if I wanted to do more running away. However, it would be a painful dead end. Where does this lead? Up and onto the side. There's a chest here. Okay, so this was where the treasure was. The black soul gem. Ultimate Magicka. I picked up the wrong thing. I picked up a sanctified steel greatsword. That would do me no good. Okay. Oh, hello. Just the one? No, there are many. What's a Rathman? Is that the next level? It looks like it. And how does one get down safely? I assume they really don't. Okay, so we just saw how black soul gems are truly created. If they have a true creation method. It seems to be that the ideal masters turn them. I'm going to use some cork bulb arrows to hit these tonals. I don't want to miss out on wandering right past one of Jib's pages. We have denizens.
Where'd you come from?
Oh good, that didn't do it. I mean, cork bulb does a lot of damage, but I'm not sure of the nature of its damage. I'll let her finish him off. I absorbed a soul from that, of course I did. There's another chest here as well. Right underneath one of those. The Daedra Heart. A Reaper Gem Fragment. Now I am aware of what this is. If I find all three, well I think I know how to find all three to be fair. One can guess. That really did nearly kill me and I didn't even realise. I know the Reaper is sort of like... it's not a mini boss. Look, I've fought this thing before. It's not a mini boss. It's a boss, okay? But it's like an extra one, optional. You don't have to do it. Yeah, but you do have to find... I think it is only 3 pieces of a Reaper Soul Gem Fragment. These Reaper Soul Gem Fragments are spread out, so they can be notoriously hard to find. Let's just get rid of these arrows. Don't want to use them all the time. Okay, so we're going to make our way east. You can already see the second spire. Let's make our way there. Because we really do need to free Valerica's... Serana's mother. Valerica. it does seem to be that some of these souls that remain here do seem to, you know, find themselves something to do, which I am very surprised about. No, I don't really know. I mean, in the history of Skyrim, I think there have been more than a few people who have thought that the Soul Cairn is one of the weaker areas that have been added to many Elder Scrolls games. I'm somewhat indifferent. I tend not to mind this area. In previous playthroughs, I have always, you know, tried to be in and out as quickly as possible. It's not that I'm not fond of this area. I do find it very, very interesting. But I think it suffers from one of those moments where a writer puts something in to ask questions that will never be answered. You know, it's great and all, but you've not answered any questions. You're just making me want to ask more, but you don't have the answers to them, if that makes sense. Dragon Age Inquisition did this notoriously, which kind of, I do kind of hope for Dragon Age for the 4th installment of Dragon Age. I want it to answer the questions that Inquisition made us ask. Everything about the gods, you know, the Black City, the Golden City, the Maker. There's something coming towards me that's probably going to hit me very, very hard.
Who's there?
We have a Rothman. 2 of them. Serana seems to have one. Make them stagger. Serana provided assist. We're here at the 2nd. So let's hastily jot down my progress before something bad inevitably happens. There's the 2nd Rothman, or the 2nd Keeper.
Oh, I heard something.
We're gonna do what we did to the previous guy, because we learn from our mistakes. Sit the fuck down. Whoa. He went high. Oh, damn it. He went up there. That hurt considerably. I'm a very bad learner. Especially when two-handed axe is an all-rounder. That's something that can hit both me and Serana. The mace wasn't so bad compared. Her lightning is doing a lot of damage. There we go. Alright, finish him off. See, we learn. The one thing I always wished was that you could... because I think Dawnguard was the DLC that brought Dragonbone weapons into the game. I always kind of wished that you could have looted them. Just the weapons, you know. Just so that you could have something to help improve, because they were still notoriously difficult to craft. Not for the lack of, you know, gaining their actual materials, but it was, you know, to get the perk for crafting Dragonbone weapons, you know, you need the 100 in smithing to do that. There's another shrine just there, and I think there's a certain figure over there that I wish to speak to, and then we will carry on with our day. nope, this isn't the person.
What a horrible place.
Yeah, it's a bit grim. Anything out there that wants to kill us right now? I don't think that there is. Reaper's Lair, yeah, this is where you bring the fragments. And it summons him, and you're in a teeny tiny space. With a very big thing. It's trying to kill you. Okay. So we're 2 out of the 3 gatekeepers in. 2 out of 3, doesn't sound so bad. I'm going to end it here, guys, and I'll see you for the next one.